Judge Carroll and I had lunch together some months ago as the new incoming presidents of our respective bar associations, and he did not make me call him Your Honor, but he did inform me that there was a possibility that we might not be able to serve our terms out together because of the potential that he would be appointed for judge, and we're all gratified that you did get the nod, Your Honor. So we also want to welcome our judges in attendance today. In addition to Judge Carroll, we have Judge Dunnigan, Judge Ferentz, Judge Smith, and Judge Singer, who will also be presenting at our CLE this afternoon. I also want to acknowledge the presence of our wonderful clerk of the Circuit Court, Angel Colonesso, and I believe, Madam Clerk, you have a guest with you? Welcome, Dr. Pettyjohn. Are you going to be attending our seminar today? I look forward to hearing your feedback of whether we've impressed someone who is so schooled already in the topic. Want to give our thanks to Manatee Education Television today for agreeing to film these proceedings. Wherever the action is in the community, Mr. Clapsaddle is behind the camera. And we are having, as I mentioned today, after the luncheon is over, a technology CLE seminar. You recall that I wanted to sort of mirror what the big bar was doing with its focus this year on technology, and so our course, Avoiding Pitfalls in the Digital Era of Law, E-Discovery, Preservation, and Other Technology Issues. We do still have seating arranged if anyone who is moved to want to attend. It is incredibly inexpensive CLE. It's been certified for 3.5 hours, including 1 hour of ethics credit, for those of you who may want. And we do have a fantastic panel of attorneys, Judge Singer, as well as Adam Sharp, who is his own president and CEO of eHounds Incorporated. Now, with a company like eHounds, you have to listen to what this guy has to say. But it's going to be a great presentation. And with that, we have Young Lawyers Minute. Ms. Pino, if you could come on up and share with us what the young lawyers have to say.
Thank you, Rob. I did not realize I was going to be on camera today. This will be a quick, brief minute, and I'd like to highlight two of our projects. The first is the expansion of art creations for the courthouse. This displays artwork created by Manatee County students on the 5th floor of our Judicial Center and invites those young artists, their families, their art teachers, and members of the bar and judiciary for the unveiling at that artwork and a reception in the spring. Brian E. Swift, one of our board members, recently presented our grant proposal to the Florida Bar at the Affiliate Outreach Conference. So slowly but surely, those stale walls of our Judicial Center will hopefully be welcoming and aesthetically pleasing. The second project I'd like to highlight today is to announce our professional roundtable luncheon on April 26th, where young lawyers will have the opportunity to obtain tips from seasoned practitioners and the judges they routinely appear in front of. Our committee chairs will be reaching out to those of you who indicated on our renewal application that you'd be interested in mentoring. So if they reach out to you, please respond, and hopefully we'll get your participation. Chief Judge Williams is helping facilitate our involvement from the judiciary. So if I've timed this right, my minute is up, and as I sit down, I'd like any of our board members today, I think there's two of them here on the Young Lawyers Division board, to stand up so that they can be recognized, and if you have any questions about the other projects that we're doing that I did not have a chance to mention today, they can facilitate that conversation. Thanks.
Thank you, Sierra. I think you did fantastically, so Mr. Clapsaddle is going to cut that and send it to you. It could be your demo tape whenever you're looking to get discovered. Also want to let you all know that the 12th Circuit High School mock trial competition is set for Saturday, February 27th at 8:30 in the morning at the Silvertooth Judicial Center in Sarasota. They're looking for volunteer judges from both counties, and so Sarasota folks come up here a lot and help us out on our projects. So hopefully those of you who have the time on Saturday can go on down to Sarasota. If you want to volunteer, you may either see Sue for details, or the email that you would respond to is scastro@farr.com. So, and you can see Sue for further details on that. Our March 30th membership luncheon meeting and CLE seminar is going to feature Representative Greg Stubbe from the House of Representatives, who's going to give you a rundown of what the legislature has done to us this year. I mean, for us, I should say. No, seriously, it's as you all know, Representative Stubbe is sponsoring a very important dog bill that that a lot of us in the room care about being passed, and so we look forward to having him speak. And following that, we're going to have yet another CLE because we really want to help our members get good, inexpensive, quality CLE. And so that seminar, which y'all should register for, is what not to do when you get that phone call, Criminal Law 101 for the non-criminal defense attorney. And the panel is equally distinguished for that: Ed Brodsky, Larry Eager, Brett McIntosh, who's a private criminal defense counsel, and Judge Diana Moreland. And many of us who do not practice criminal law have faced that situation where you get a call saying, my son just sort of got popped for some marijuana. What do I do? And he's at the jail. And of course, if you're a civil attorney, you might not know. And so, in addition to kind of telling you what to do, this panel is probably going to tell you, please don't try to do this because you may jeopardize the person's freedom. But nevertheless, it should be a very educational CLE. So we hope you all come. And that is a 2-hour CLE. The application to the bar for that certification is still pending. Manatee Bar Night with the Pirates is going to be Saturday, March 26th. There's a flyer, a green flyer on all of your tables for details about that. So if you're a baseball aficionado and want to have a good time, please come on out to that. Upcoming meetings is February 24th. We're going to have our general membership meeting with our clerk of the court, our new clerk of the court, who's going to address how things are changing at the courthouse and some of the initiatives that she has in her planned in her administration. And April the 9th, Saturday, April 9th, is save the date. There's going to be a show of To Kill a Mockingbird, Manatee Bar Night at the Riverfront Players. And I really encourage you that they're really doing a fantastic program there in terms of, there's going to be some celebrity appearances. So be sure that you get your tickets for that. So with that, I would ask you all to enjoy your lunch, and we will introduce in a little bit the speaker for today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are honored to have Dr. Carol Probstfeld as our speaker today. Dr. Probstfeld hails from the great state of California, where she received her doctorate degree in organizational leadership from Argosy University. She has an MBA from John Carroll University and a bachelor degree in accounting and marketing from California State Polytechnic University. Dr. Probstfeld has been with SCF since 2003. She's held the position of Vice President of Business and Administration Services, where she oversaw budgets and administrative operations. She has led an expansion of online learning opportunities for the school and the development and implementation of the college's strategic plan. She served as interim president in late 2012, and in 2013, in January, she was appointed president of the college. She is the 6th president of the college, 2nd woman, and in her spare time, if she has anything, one of the things she enjoys doing is underwater photography, which is really interesting. So would you please join me in providing a warm Manatee County Bar Association welcome to Dr. Carol Probstfeld.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you very much for this opportunity to be here with you today and tell you a little bit about the State College of Florida. I thought about starting with some kind of a lawyer joke, but I figured you've heard them all. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're doing at the State College of Florida that I hope supports you. First off, can I see a show of hands of people who were students or faculty or in some way affiliated with the State College of Florida? Outstanding. It's always nice to be surrounded by part of the family. I just learned this morning that our paralegal program students have posted the highest pass rates on the NALA CLACP exam in the state and in the nation for the past 2 years. So we're doing our part to support the legal profession. Behind me you see the slides that outline just a little bit of our strategic plan that I would like to talk to you about today. But the theme is boldly engaging, because what we know with the research we've done, with the 59 years of history that we have in this community, what makes us strong and what makes our students successful is the bold engagement that we have with faculty and students, students and employers, employers and faculty. It's that whole network of community that makes the college program successful. And we thank you for that type of engagement. And we look forward to stepping up our game as an institution and looking for those opportunities for engagement. On your table, you'll see some cards that outline the 4 primary strategic initiatives that we're looking forward to engage as we move forward. But I'm only going to talk about 2 today. The first one, because it's sort of near and dear to Manatee County. About 60 years, a little over 60 years ago now, Manatee County decided this is where one of the first in the state junior colleges should be located. So people came together and said, we want to put it here in Manatee County. Some land was donated and some was purchased, and we created what is now our largest campus in Bradenton. About 40 years ago, people got together in South Sarasota County and said, we need a campus here as well. We have students that need access to education here. Came together, some land was donated, some was purchased, and our second 100-acre campus was born. About 20 years ago, people came together in Lakewood Ranch and said, we need a campus here. And the same story ensued. But what's fascinating about that is every location where we started a campus, we were the first there. We were there by ourselves. We were out in the middle of open orchards, if you will, in Bradenton. When we were out at Lakewood Ranch, you could hit a baseball as far as you can in any direction and not hit anything else for quite some time. So we're thinking now about the future and saying it's our turn to start saying 20 years from now and 30 years from now, when our successors look back, are they going to say we thought and we planned and we prepared for the future? We know our county is growing. We know that it's growing east of I-75 and north of the river, and we need to be there. We know we have to be where our students live, work, and play. We have for 59 years. We will continue to do that for the next 59 years, but right now is the time to start thinking about that. I'm often asked, who are the stars that graduate from the State College of Florida? Well, I could mention Representative Jim Boyd, who started his academic career with us, Senator Bill Galvano. I could tell you about a young woman by the name of Vita Biggins, who was homeless, threw a dart at a map of the United States, and that dart landed in Bradenton, Florida. She came to Bradenton, Florida on a bus, came to the State College of Florida, learned what she needed to do to complete her GED, because she was told when she was in high school that she wasn't good student material. She should just quit and get a job. And she did. But she knew there had to be more to life. She came to the State College of Florida. She found her passion in our natural sciences program. She went on to be an outstanding student, graduated top of her class, and was accepted to Columbia University and is there now studying neuroscience. I could tell you about Joe Cooper. Joe Cooper is a young man who graduated from high school and just wasn't ready to go to college. He was a mediocre student, so he joined the Army. He spent time in the Army, and when he got out, he came back to this area and decided that he wanted to pursue an education, but he knew he needed to relearn how to learn. He wasn't a good student when he started, but he came to the State College of Florida, and that's exactly what happened. He relearned how to learn. He became an outstanding student, and he was one of only 6% of the people who applied to Harvard that was accepted in his year. He went on to graduate from Harvard and is attending the University of Florida studying law. His goal is to be a public servant. He's worked in the last several presidential campaigns, so keep your eye open for a young man by name Joe Cooper in the future. I could tell you about a young man named Nick Goody. Many of you may remember that name. Just a year ago, he was drafted to play in the major leagues for the Yankees as a pitcher, the 29th baseball player from the State College of Florida to go on and play in the major leagues. But I don't really want to tell you about those. Those are stars. What I want to tell you about is a superstar. A young woman by the name of Sandra Stafford. We approached Sandra and asked her if she would speak at our scholarship luncheon because she had a very compelling story, and she said, but I think if you know my real story, you won't want me to tell it. She said that I was a drug addict. I overdosed 3 times. I watched my friends die. I don't know why I was spared, but I now have been sober for 30 years, and I knew that I wanted to give back. And I thought that nursing was my calling. So I went back to the State College of Florida as a nurse, and I realized that the most important reason for me to be here is because these students are half my age. And I can tell them, it doesn't matter what you're facing. It doesn't matter what roadblocks come your way. You can get past it. I'm living evidence that that can happen. So I became their mentor. And I realized the first time that the foundation provided me a scholarship that there was someone who said to me, "You matter." And they didn't even know me. They didn't know my story. They didn't know anything about my past, but they told me I mattered. That's what the State College of Florida wants to be for the students in our area. We have been that. We want to continue to be that. We want to be that organization that tells students, you matter, and you can be successful. Back to the strategic plan, why it's important for us to be where students are. There are a couple things that we know. We hear often nowadays, online learning. In the world of online learning, why can't you just teach everybody online and save all this cost of facilities and rent and all those things that go with teaching on a face-to-face format? But what we know are a couple of things. Number one, student learning outcomes are better in a face-to-face environment. Number two, not all students do well in an online environment. Not all students want to be in an online environment. We have better graduation rates, better success rates, and better grades, better persistence with students who learn in a face-to-face environment. So we need to be sure that we're providing all possibilities for students, particularly an institution that's an open access institution. So what that means is if you've completed high school or have a GED, you can come to the State College of Florida. With the student body that we serve, we need to provide a vast array of ways to achieve your educational goals because we have students from a very vast, different amount of backgrounds. What we also know is that online students have changed the way we have to think about education. We often think, well, they're taking a class online, they're sitting in their living room with their fuzzy slippers on and their jammies, and they're taking their online class, but that's simply not how it happens. What's happening now is rather than students signing up for a class, meeting their classmates, getting together to study and perform in the class, they pick their friends or the people they want to learn with. Together, they come together and decide what class they want to take online. And they're hanging out with their friends in the library, in the student union, outside under a tree, but together collectively taking that online class. So we have to think differently about that when we're thinking about creating the facilities for the future. We don't need to create as many classrooms, but we need to create those spaces where students come together and they take an online class together because that environment is very, very important. When I talk about why we have to be where our students live, work, and play, we know that in today's world, most of our students work. They have to work. Many students don't want to go into debt and they work while they go to college. They have families, they have jobs. They have to fit school into their life. Not their life is school anymore. So we need to be where they are. And we had a young student by the name of Jody Johnson who was a mother of a small child. Her child, of course, had daycare and was just starting school, and she wanted to be a role model for her child. She never had the chance to finish college, and she wanted to do that. But she couldn't pick up and come to Bradenton every day. She couldn't learn in an online environment where she had a small child in the house with her. She didn't feel that she could focus accordingly. She wanted to go to a campus where she would have the support and she would be amongst a community of learners. She would not have been able to achieve her college education, but for the Venice campus that's right in her backyard. She went on to be recognized as the Distinguished Alumni Rising Star, the Coca-Cola Academic Team Gold Scholar, a PTK All-American academic team, and went on to New College to study the protecting of our cultural heritage in this area. She's truly an outstanding student who, but for the State College of Florida being where she was living and working, would not have been able to get her education. The fourth strategic priority of our institution is to really brand the idea that at the State College of Florida, you can get anywhere from here. A lot of people think that your state colleges or your community colleges are a place to go if you don't really have any clue what you want to do or you're not good enough to get into a university. That's just not the case anymore. Students are smart. They're making smart financial decisions, and they're saying, you know what? I can go get 2 years of college education, incur zero debt, and transfer to any university in the state of Florida in the 2+2 articulation program. that's a pretty smart choice, and we're seeing more and more students make that choice. It creates for a very dynamic environment on our campus, and we're really excited to be able to start offering a new honors program at our campus in Venice this next year. We have many partnerships that we're working on currently that are part of our strategic plan to build partnerships with universities such as USF, UF. FSU is already on our campus at Lakewood Ranch to partner with us to offer programming. But the idea that you can get anywhere from here also hits home very personally. I have an outstanding young man by the name of Liston Gregory III. Liston Gregory was a young man who was in church when he was a little boy cutting up in the back, and the pastor pulled him aside and said, "We're not going to have any more of that. Sit down at this organ and I'm going to teach you how to play." Liston told us that the first time he sat down and he was taught how to play a scale, he felt like he belonged. He felt comfortable. It felt natural to him. Liston went on to play jazz around the world with the musicians from his church, others as well. But Liston didn't know how to read music. When Liston came back to his home here in Bradenton, Florida, he came to the State College of Florida because he wanted to expand his knowledge in the area of music. He learned to read music, and he said for the first time, not only could he create music, but he could understand music. Liston went on to get a scholarship to go to the University of North Florida, which is one of the preeminent jazz programs in the state of Florida. And his goal is he wants to come back and teach other children, because he says, if somebody hadn't reached out and found in me that love, that passion for music, and then showed me how you take what's in your heart and you translate it to what's in your head, I would never be where I am today. And I want to do that for the next generation of children. One of the other things we want to accomplish in this plan is to let you know at the State College of Florida, we have a number of experts. We have faculty that right now we're trying to develop a library of the skills of those faculty, and I'll share just a few. We have two of the nation's most preeminent experts in slime. Interesting? Important. For those of you that are Kiwanis members, he will be speaking to the Kiwanis Club in Bradenton in a couple of months about slime and the importance to our environment. We have two experts in bat history. We have our bats houses down at our Venice campus, and go figure, we have two experts in the world of bats. We have faculty who are being romanced away from us on a daily basis because they're experts at putting the art of gaming into developmental math and learning math. And math is one of those things that students have one of the hardest times coming to terms with and accepting, and to the extent that we can make it a game and put gaming into that learning process, that's a fantastic thing, and we have faculty that are experts at that. We have a faculty member who is highly pursued by most of the publishing houses in our country because she's an expert in integrating social media with learning. And they want to be able to use that in what they're putting out as publishers as well. We have cybersecurity experts. Just tomorrow night at our Bradenton campus, we have a panel of experts coming together to talk about the political landscape. That ought to be pretty interesting, where we are right now, and one of our faculty members will be part of that. So we want you to know that if you need an expert in something, if you're part of an organization and you want to talk about something in particular that maybe, please call us first. We might have that expert on our staff, and if we don't, we can help you find them. The last thing we really want to hit in our strategic plan this year is to make sure the community understands the return on investment at the State College of Florida. For a student, the return on investment is 13 to 1. For every dollar you invest in your education, the return to you is $13. For the community, a 7% rate of return on your investment as a taxpayer into the State College of Florida. Over $350 million of investment in the economic life of our community every year. Those are the financial numbers, but I'd like to tell you about something that's a little bit more personal in terms of investment. Remember that scholarship luncheon I talked about at the beginning? There's a couple that I had the real fortunate opportunity to sit next to who have been funding a nursing scholarship for years and years and years. As it turns out, after that scholarship, her husband, the husband of the two, found himself in hospice and subsequently has passed away. Interestingly, one of the nurses who was providing care and supporting that family during that transition was a nurse funded by that family's scholarship. And she said, I never imagined I would benefit so directly from my contribution to the State College of Florida. I want to share these stories with you because those are the students that we have. Those are the students that we're reaching, and through boldly engaging with you, with employers, with donors, with students, with faculty, with everybody in our sphere in this community, we want to be able to continue to create those kind of opportunities, because you never know when that investment is going to impact you so very directly. I'd just like to remind you and ask you for your help. When you're looking for somebody who has some expert knowledge, contact us. When you're thinking about, or you run into somebody who has a philanthropic proclivity and has space out in East Campus that might be looking, or in East County that might be looking to help, please keep us in mind. We want to be where our students are. And I'd like to tell you that Liston, our young man who plays music, he's up at the University of North Florida right now with 40 of the students at the State College of Florida who left this morning in a bus to go compete at the state championship in music. And last year, half of the students who qualified to participate in the statewide orchestra came from the State College of Florida. Our music program is outstanding. But our music program doesn't have a place to practice. With great success comes great need. It's the fastest growing program we have. Our students and our instructor who are in the percussion section actually wear earplugs when they practice because we don't have an adequate facility for them to practice in. So we're asking for your help. We need to build a new facility for these students. So if you have an interest, you know somebody who has an interest who would love to be partners with us, we would certainly appreciate your help. I thank you for your attention and be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Wow. Okay. Yes?
How many students are you currently serving?
We have about 10,000 students who are non-credit or who are credit students, and we have about another 12,000 who are non-credit. And by non-credit, those are the students who might be coming one time to take a ceramics class through our adult education program. Yes, sir.
I sense that you're having to work awfully hard these days in nurturing your relationship with your governing board. Is that fair to say?
I think that my relationship with the governing board has always been one of mutual respect and support, and we're going to continue moving forward as an institution, providing the nurturing and supportive relationships that we always have had for our students. I firmly believe that if we keep our focus on our mission, and that is providing quality education for our students, we can't go awry.
And you're an excellent ambassador, so
Thank you.
you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you. All right. Yes, sir. Oop.
In other countries, Europe and certain parts of Asia, there becomes a divide as you get to a certain age where you're either tracked into higher education and professional jobs, or you're tracked into the blue-collar world and you end your educational endeavors. And in our country, at least in recent decades, it has been more of an egalitarian, open to all sort of a model. And some would argue, including some who have been adjunct professors for a long time, that sometimes that model might have people arriving who really truly might be exerting their efforts better elsewhere and so forth. So where do you come down in terms of education for all at quality's cost, or should there be some sort of a winnowing process?
I think that higher education is not for everyone. I think that we have to help young people early on in their life understand what the options are, what their choices are, and what that means for their life. I think one of the things that I see happening right now that causes a little frustration to me is this fast tracking of young people into a career when they're in middle school and high school. And when I reflect back on my educational experience, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I started college. And if I went around this room, of course, this is a very specialized group, but typically if I ask the question, are you doing today what you thought you would be doing when you started college, almost nobody says yes. But yet we want to back that up a little bit. And I think when you think about how long you're going to be working, you want to do something that you care about and that you're passionate about. It's our job, as I see it, to help students discover that. But again, college isn't for everybody. And if we have a student who comes to the State College of Florida that doesn't seem to be the right fit, we're going to advise them and counsel them where that right fit might be for them. And we do that. I suppose I'm somewhat of a heretic in my own profession because I don't believe college is for everyone. I think you can be very successful in this world and not go to college. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. That was a fantastic presentation. We really appreciate you coming out. Just to remind everyone again that our next meeting is February 24th, where we will be hearing from our clerk, Angel Colanesso. And for those of you who are remaining for the seminar, please go ahead and head to the west side of the room, and so the support staff can get the room arranged. And other than that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.